Hello everyone, it's Christopher Taylor with Sovereign Harmony, checking in here for the weekly update for the Astrology of the week. Today is Sunday, February 2nd, Groundhog Day, if that's your thing. So a lot of activity going on this week for sure. We're just coming off this past weekend here. Last night, I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but there was a conjunction between the moon, crescent moon, and Venus, nice and bright in the western sky. There was also Neptune and the North Node there. That Neptune North Node still going to be with us for a few more weeks. Venus is going to be pulling off of that here in the next day or so. But very magical, energy with the Pisces energy and Neptune and Venus. So definitely great for like music and romance and things like that, right? So I'm not sure how your weekend was, but it's definitely fit for that kind of thing. Anyway, coming into this week, tomorrow, Monday the 3rd, kind of a tense day. We've got retrograde Mars in Cancer. Remember, it went retrograde in Leo on December 6th. It's not going to turn direct in Cancer until February 23rd. So it's still in retrograde motion in Cancer, and it's going to be forming a square to Chiron in Aries. So Aries is ruled by Mars. So we have the ruler of Aries in retrograde squaring an asteroid in Aries, Chiron. Okay, so angsty. That's kind of the word that wants to come to me when I think about that energy. And it's been with us for a few days. It'll be with us for a few more days as far as the 1 degree orb goes, and it will be back in late March. So it won't finish up until late March. So really the next 2 months, February and March, this is when we're going to be dealing with this kind of energy kind of in the background. Okay, so that angstiness, this this sense of almost like passive aggressive procrastination with Mars going backwards. It's in Cancer. It's not really well directed in that sign. And then Chiron, the Aries, is all about our kind of self-image and our ability to trust ourselves and put ourselves first. Okay, and so this is in a little battle here. Okay, so there can be a sense, like for example, of feeling like we're heading in a direction that isn't totally what we want, or we're lacking confidence in heading in the direction we do want, right? And so we're left with what's left. If you don't go after what you want, sometimes you got to deal with what's left. If you get to the dinner table too late, maybe there's not a lot of food left, right? So there can be that sense of feeling pushed into something, and feeling like what we want to do is over here, but we can't get there for some reason. Okay, so that really is what that kind of feels like to me. In addition, tomorrow Venus will enter Aries. Now remember, Venus is going to retrograde in Aries back to Pisces, and that's the retrograde is going to be from March 1st to April 12th. So for the next 2 months plus, Venus is going to be back and forth between Aries and Pisces. So it's in its shadow zone. It'll be back where it's at right now, and so we'll talk about that in a second. What also is going to happen tomorrow, which is very interesting, going back to that retrograde Mars squaring Chiron in Aries. Well, the moon will be in Aries tomorrow, and I don't usually mention void of course moons. It's a little more of a detail and like a daily detail. So if you're not deeply into astrology, you might not have even heard of that. But I find tomorrow's void of course very interesting. So a void of course is just the last major aspect that the moon makes before it switches signs. And what's going to happen tomorrow, it's going to make a square to that retrograde Mars. And so while it's squaring retrograde Mars, it's going to be right on that Chiron in Aries. And so it's really highlighting that square. Okay, and we're talking like early morning hours Monday till the evening hours Monday. So it's about a 17-hour void of course. Sometimes void of course is 5-6 minutes, sometimes less. So they're not necessarily long periods of time, but this one happens to be a long period of time, and it's highlighting this retrograde Mars, which is Mars being the ruler of Aries, and now we've got this conjunction between the moon and Chiron in Aries. So to me, it has a little extra significance. So especially tomorrow, especially Monday, be wary of your own angstiness and other people's angstiness. If people are snappy, or if you catch yourself being snappy, just take a pause, right? Also going on tomorrow. So tomorrow's pretty busy. You got you got Chiron, retrograde Mars. You got the moon void, of course. You got Venus entering Aries, and we have Mercury in Aquarius trining Jupiter in Gemini. And Jupiter on Tuesday morning will be turning direct. So it's been retrograde since October, and it entered Gemini last spring, like May, June timeframe. When it entered Gemini in the late spring, early summer, through the late summer, early fall, there was a sense of like juggling lots of options, right? kind of all the balls in the air, not really sure what we want to focus on. And then Jupiter went retrograde and it kind of went dormant in a sense. And now when it's going to turn direct from now, essentially early February into early June, a 4-month period, Jupiter's zipping through Gemini and into Cancer, where it'll be there in June. And so now it's like all of these possibilities and options, we're going to have to like try to at least pick one, at least maybe two, maybe three, but we got to do something with those options. Okay. And that's going to be the kind of the urge going through the rest of the winter into the spring. With Mercury there in Aquarius, this is, helping us use our heads a little bit more. And it's a trine. So we may find that, just by concentrating on what our options are, the right option just kind of like seems right, and we just go with it. I mean, we've got the Neptune North Node conjunction. Like I said, that's with us for a few more weeks. So our intuition is highly tuned right now. And we're being asked to trust that and go with that. Let go, release, surrender. Okay. So we may want to make some choices and go forward with them here this week. And then it gets a little quiet midweek, but we get into Thursday, Friday time frame. This is when that Venus fresh into Aries, it will form a sextile to Pluto in Aquarius. Okay. And this will be an ongoing sextile that'll last till like early May. So it'll be with us, later this week to start, but it won't be gone until Venus is direct, moving through Aries for the final time, and it hits that Pluto again in Aquarius with the sextile. So really it's like a 3-month period for that sextile from Venus in Aries to Pluto in Aquarius. And, that's got a lot of creative tinge to it, okay? Transformative tinge to it as well. It's like really a sense of kind of reinventing ourselves, okay? In a lot of ways, reinventing our image. So it's an opportunity to do that. We don't have to do that, but with the sextile, it opens up the door. We have this opportunity to reinvent ourselves in a way, transform ourselves, and present ourselves in a different way by the time we get into early May or so. Okay, so that starts around Thursday, Friday. Then Thursday, Friday into Saturday, Sunday time frame, we have Mercury, which has been trying to catch up to the sun, and is getting closer and closer. It's going to catch up with the sun on Sunday morning. Okay, but before it does that, both the sun and Mercury are going to form a sextile to Chiron in Aries. That same Chiron in Aries that retrograde Mars is squaring, that sun and Mercury from Aquarius will form a sextile to Chiron in Aries. So that's going to kind of soften that angstiness a little bit, so temporarily anyway. And this conjunction is what's called the superior conjunction. So there is an inferior conjunction and a superior conjunction. The inferior conjunction between Mercury and the sun happens right at the halfway point of the retrograde cycle. And then when Mercury's direct, like it is now, it'll conjunct the sun in what's called the superior conjunction. So you can think of the inferior conjunction as almost like a new moon phase, and the superior conjunction as like a full moon phase or a culmination phase. And so we go back to the midpoint of the last retrograde, which was about December 5th, I believe it was. So December 5th, the sun and Mercury conjunct inferior conjunction at about 14 degrees Sagittarius. And now they're going to form their superior conjunction at about 21 degrees Aquarius. Okay, so find 14 degrees Sagittarius in your chart and 21 degrees Aquarius in your chart, and that's kind of your beginning point and your culmination point. So what's happening here, think about 2 months ago, what was planting, what we were initiating, and how is that culminating now? How is that coming together now? Okay, and again, that's going to act to soften up that Chiron angstiness with the retrograde Mars square there, because that sextile is going to give us an opportunity to really kind of own our confidence in a way. Okay, so it kind of goes back to that reinvention theme, but that reinvention theme is more of a 3-month period. This may be initiating that in a lot of ways. So the weekend definitely got some important energies going on, and then the final thing that will be going on, that'll be another extended aspect, because Mars is retrograde. So Mars retrograde is going to trine Saturn in Pisces. And so that'll be with us for about a week, and then it'll be back with us late March, early April. So again, we won't be done with it for a couple of months. And that's a nice trine, in my opinion. Trines are kind of letting go and allowing what has already been created to come into fruition in a lot of ways. And so Mars, action, Saturn, structure. So this is, in a lot of ways, with Saturn and Pisces too, our highest ideals. And then, Mars in Cancer is kind of like going on intuition and feeling. So we could find that the next couple of months that there's a sense of we can, going back to Neptune conjunct the North Node in Pisces, we can trust ourselves. We can allow ourselves to go where our gut takes us, where our intuition takes us. Okay, so that's going to be an important thing going on as well. Okay, so that's all the energy for this week. It's, like I said, a pretty busy week. There is also, if you are in Southern California, there is a what's called a Conscious Life Expo. It's at the Hilton LAX. It's this weekend, the 7th, 8th, 9th, I think. I might go up there Saturday the 8th. Still thinking about it. But, it's a little bit beyond astrology. It's going to include astrology and other esoteric and mystical kinds of goings on. A lot of healing work, things like that. So if you're into that and you're in the area, you can check that out. The Conscious Life Expo LA. But anyway, with that, I think we'll just end it here. Really nice day here in San Marcos, California, northern San Diego County. Probably like 72 degrees or something like that. So probably one of the warmer days we've had in a while. So nice day for a hike. Anyway, we'll see you next time. Take care.